Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Inner Work for Greater Good. I am Emily Aldridge. As always, your, I would say, fearless hostess, but that's just not true. I have plenty of fears. They come up all the time. That's pretty much why I do the work that I do, because I want to help others be free of their fears, for us all to be really, truly feeling whole and at peace and empowered within ourselves. And obviously, I've had to do a lot of work myself, which is why I know how to talk about this. All right. So, today's topic is when not to take care of others' feelings. Okay, so I might say a few controversial things here. But first of all, and mind you, I'm only talking about adults. I understand that when it comes to children, sometimes we have to be especially mindful of their feelings over others, sometimes situations. So, for example, you don't always want to tell the full truth to a child because they may not be able to process that information. Okay, so I just want to establish there are exceptions to this. But in general, I actually think it's not a good idea, generally, to think in terms of trying to take care of other people's feelings. Now, what do I mean by that? No. Let me back up. Taking care of others' feelings. When should you not take care of others' feelings? Or when should you be aware of, okay, I am just rambling here. How do I articulate this? All right, bear with me. Here's a general rule that I see about when not to take care of others' feelings. And that is when taking care of other people's feelings means hurting ourselves, means sacrificing our own well-being, means denying our own power, denying our own truth, denying what we know is right for us. Now, what's an example of that? So, for example, if I may feel like there is some action that I need to take in my life, let's say it's I'm going to pursue a certain career path, okay? And I'm afraid to tell my parents that, let's say, because I'm afraid of their reaction. I'm afraid they'll judge me. I'm afraid they'll attack me. I'm afraid of all kinds of things. You can decide whether or not, or when the time is right, or even if you want to tell your parents. I can decide if I want to tell my parents the truth. But the issue is that when we stop ourselves from speaking a truth or doing something that's empowering for us because we're afraid of the other person's reaction to that, because we're trying to take care of their feelings, because maybe we're afraid they'll be scared or they'll be angry or they just can't handle it or whatever. And yet we sacrifice ourselves and we deny ourselves something that we know is right for us or good for us. Or we don't speak our truth because we're, again, afraid of their reaction. That's when I think we need to be careful about taking care of other people's feelings. Sorry, my phone just made noise. Is that when it means that we're hurting ourselves because we're trying to protect those other people or that other person. Or if we're hurting the people around us because we're making choices that are about catering to or fear of or deference to that other person's feelings or their reaction, and yet their actions or their behaviors or their whatever is hurting us or the people around us, but we don't say anything. We want to take care of their feelings. We want to try to placate or appease. That I don't think is healthy. And the reason why I want to bring this up as a topic is because I think we do this a lot more than we realize. I definitely spent a lot of my life doing this, partly because I was sort of raised that way. I was sort of raised in an environment where it was always about, wanting to take care of other people's feelings, even if it meant we got it in the neck, even if it meant we got hurt. It was always this fear of the other person's reaction. And so therefore it's putting their feelings as primary over ours, their feelings ahead of our own. And that can lead to a very toxic, harmful situation, harmful to us, harmful to the people we love. And also, it's not holding that person to what's their responsibility. And what is their responsibility? Their own feelings. And that's what I was going to say that might be kind of controversial, because I think sometimes we're raised in environments, or we grow up in environments, or we're in societies where unconsciously we don't even realize how much we are putting other people's feelings ahead of our own. We are taking care of everyone else rather than, or not in addition to, taking care of ourselves. And this is where I will argue that we need to make sure that we are not sacrificing our own well-being for others. Because here's what also happens. When we don't, first of all, we hurt ourselves, right? We hurt ourselves when we put other people's feelings continually ahead of our own. And then it means that we don't take actions that might be empowering or healthy or right for us, because it's always about worrying about their feelings, or don't want them to get upset or whatever. But what that also does, though, when we don't speak our truth or do what's true or right for us, we also don't give that other person the opportunity, for example, to deal with their own feelings. Because if we're taking care of their feelings, then they're probably not taking care of their own feelings, right? We are taking responsibility, too much responsibility, for other people's well-being, while at the same time sacrificing our own. And that is where I feel it is not healthy or okay to take care of other people's feelings when it's hurting us, but also when it's denying them the opportunity to learn how to do it for themselves. Okay? Very important. The opposite, of course, is to not care about anybody else's feelings. And that is not what I'm arguing here. So let me make that very clear. This isn't, we should all just go through life not giving a damn about how anyone else feels, or not considering their reaction to our choices. That is the exact opposite. So that's where you're erring on the other side. And you know people like this too, right? Who are all about like, well, I don't care. I just say what it is, and I just da-da-da-da-da. And it's all this very sort of defensive or even offensive, attacking, aggressive sort of energy that just says, well, I don't care what anybody else thinks. And while there is some health in that it's important for us to honor what's right for us, independently of whether or not, people, whatever their opinion might be, let's say. But the problem with that is that's more of a defensive stance. That's more of a reactive stance, as opposed to from a place of peace and clarity and knowing. And that's also lacking in empathy. And so I think, and this is why I'm bringing this up with you all, because we're women, and also as a healer myself and someone who's all about emotional well-being, is that sometimes those people like me, and if you're like this, we can err too much on the side of too much empathy, where we're so empathic towards how that person's feeling that then we're sacrificing ourselves, or then we're not paying attention to ourselves, or then we're taking more care of that person than we are of ourselves, and we're not enabling them we're not trusting them to be strong enough to handle whatever it is that they need to handle, whatever their own feelings are. Okay? If we're never given the opportunity to deal with our own feelings, and if somebody's always taking care of them, then when do we learn how to deal with them for ourselves? And this is very much, if you're familiar with the drama triangle, this is kind of a rescuer thing, where the rescuer part of the drama triangle, your persecutor, rescuer, victim. If you're not familiar with the drama triangle, look it up. The drama triangle, the Cartman drama triangle. Every person on the planet should know the drama triangle. But for example, in the rescuer role, that's a very classic situation where the rescuer is constantly trying to rescue the victim and take care of the victim, or the person who sees themselves as a victim, and try to fix things for them, and try to placate, and try to, take care of their feelings. But at the same time, that rescuer, though, may also be denying their own feelings, or maybe sacrificing too much of themselves to take care of that person. And that is where that's not healthy. And also, there's a kind of, I don't know if the word is codependence or whatever there, that's the rescuer's belief is, I'm not okay if you aren't okay. And that's not healthy, because there's no sovereignty in that, to say that I can be okay even if you're not okay. And that's more on the healthy triangle. Look that up as well. This is the complementary, the healthy triangle. And the healthy corresponding role for the rescuer on the healthy triangle is caring, right? So we can be caring about other people without trying to rescue them. We can be caring about them without trying to constantly take care of their feelings, or deny them, or deny them the opportunity to figure it out for themselves or trust that they have the power to do it themselves. So instead of me going, oh, here, I'll do it for you, or, oh, well, and not wanting to be honest with that person because you're afraid of their reaction, that would be sort of that taking care of feelings rescuer thing. Instead, to say, yeah, gosh, I know you're in a lot of pain, and to be able to speak our own truth and to be able to trust that they can take care of their own feelings and thus not jump into that rescuer role, which ultimately is harmful for us and not necessarily helpful for them. I realize I jumped around a lot, but I guess my point, as always, is to get you thinking about when are you taking care of others' feelings in lieu of your own, or instead of your own, or not in balance with your own. And that's my point, is that there's the overly caring for other people's feelings and taking care of their feelings. And then there's the, I don't give a damn, I don't care. And this is almost like over empathy and under empathy. And so really the key is balance, to be able to be present with and recognize, okay, this is how I'm feeling. This is what I know is true for me. This is what I feel is right for me. This is what I need to say. This is what I need to do, whatever it is that we know we need to do. And to be present with and aware of, okay, and they may have a reaction to that and they may not like that. And that may, they may take that as hurtful, or they may get angry or whatever. And to say, okay, and being present with both, but not necessarily saying, well, then I'm going to step back and I'm not going to do, or I'm not going to say what I need to say, and I'm just going to try to placate them. No, that's not healthy, because what ends up happening is we end up suffering and we end up denying our own truth and we end up denying our own power and not trusting them to find the power within themselves and take control of what is theirs. And that is their feelings. We are all responsible for our own feelings. And there's a very practical reason why this is true. Because I cannot, even if I am the nicest person on the planet, I cannot make you happy. I cannot make someone else happy. I cannot make someone else feel good about themselves. I may be able to say some things that influence that, but it's still, their feelings are inside of them. They're not inside of me. I can't grab their feelings and do stuff with them. No. And if I try to do that, then I'm manipulating them. I'm trying to control something I shouldn't try to control and I can't control. By the same token, I wouldn't want someone manipulating me. I don't want someone to try to take care of my feelings. My feelings are my job. They're my job. They're inside me. Therefore, they're my responsibility. So that's something else to remember. We are all responsible for our own feelings. That doesn't mean that we go around saying things to people and saying, well, I'm not, saying mean things to anyone. And then being like, well, whatever, it's your fault that you're upset. No, that's that lacking empathy. But to be able to be present with the both and of it, and ultimately to honor ourselves, because when we dishonor ourselves, we feel it on some level. And it really can corrode our sense of our own power and presence and purpose and light. And as always, I am all about what is good and right for you. Do what's in alignment with your truth. Trust yourself, trust your own power, and also trust that other people can figure it out for themselves. We can help. Those of us who are healers and helpers, we can help. But it's not our job to do it for anyone else or to take care of anyone else's feelings at the expense of our own. And that, I believe, is when we are not supposed to especially when we're not supposed to take care of other people's feelings. All right. As always, I hope this is helpful. I hope this gave you some food for thought. Please do listen to my latest episode of the podcast. Actually, it's coming out Friday. I'm working on it right now. It's not out yet, but it's coming out. It should be out by the time some of you will see this. And listen to my podcast, in which you can hear people actually, like, their inner critics, their inner woundeds, all kinds of things heal just amazingly in just a few hours. And each episode is about an hour long. So I hope you really enjoy it. All right. Take care. I will see you next week. And toodaloo.